Well, you did a documentary on Team 600. 600, the killer rappers who terrorized Chicago.
Mm.
600 is a Black Disciple gang. They're cool with O Block and Lamron. And a lot of people have been killed during this whole war. Baldy, D-Thing, Lil Steve, Jizzle, 051 T Streets, Tutu, Shaq, 051 Fathead, Tricks, L.A. Capone, Venzel Richardson, 051 Lil Mark, Lil B, not the Lil B from the Bay, Mob Scrap, 051 Polo, Lil Nick, Lil Boo, Stello, T-Roy, Lil Ho, Jammo, Poppy, White Girl, FBG Brick, Kobe Mac, TB, HK, Burger, Dusky, Waldo, Killer KL, Dex, FBG Duck, of course, E-Day, King Von, and Mikado, who died in prison.
Mm.
It's a lot of deaths. A lot of deaths.
Yeah, you know, that was a 6-hour video. That was really one of the deepest dives that I've done on Chicago history for sure. And, you know, 600 is a very, very infamous gang, you know, and it's got a lot of ties. You know, there's kind of overlap with O Block and 600. You know, some of those guys click up and they call themselves OB 600. You know, they kind of like, you know, they come together and form a group. You know, that's probably one of the strongest alliances when it comes to the Chicago gang stuff. But, you know, that story gets deep. 600 was a story I wanted to cover for years, but I knew how deep and complicated it would get. And I kind of held off for quite a while until we probably locked in for like maybe 3 months or so working on that. Just trying to find out everything that we possibly could, really tracing that history back to the start and covering just everyone that lost their lives in that war. But it was really brutal. But some of the stories in there are just so fascinating. You know, that guy, McAdoo, he kind of, you know, allegedly just killed a whole bunch of people, a couple innocent people, was even taking hits for money, and then ends up dying in jail within, you know, a year or two of kind of all of these things playing out. You know, one of the craziest stories in that was the story of is Booby and Lil Boo, you know, they're sort of like the Romeo and Juliet of Chicago, sort of from opposing sides. She's tapped in with Jaro City, he's tight with 600, and then you know, essentially it becomes this sort of Romeo and Juliet love story where they're saying, yo, don't be messing with her, she's gonna backdoor you, and they both end up getting killed. That really was like a real collection of some of them, just the most wild and treacherous stories that have ever gone down in Chicago. And, you know, it was really important to me to just try and trace that history and really just put across everything that I knew about that story and those rappers, because I felt like it was really important history for the scene. You know, you got 600 Breezes involved, you've got Ruger, you know, his younger brother Scrap getting involved. It was such a deep history. I don't think you could talk about 600 in a 30-minute, 20-minute video. You know, I needed 6 hours to really break that down, to be honest.
Well, last time I interviewed FBG Butter, I brought this up. Did you watch the clip?
I think I did. Yeah, he was talking about it.
He basically said, who do they kill? Who do they terrorize? You know, he's like, a couple of them, you know, are in jail for trying to steal a North Face jacket. You know, like, he basically downplayed all of it.
Man, 600 ain't terrorized nobody. E-Day fat ass ain't never did none of his life. Mimo 600 ain't never did shit. Fucking 600 Breezy ain't never did shit. Savage from 600, what the fuck he did besides playing the TV reality show? You got Rondo, see they ain't up for killing a cab driver. So we gonna call them the cab killers. What the fuck they terrorizing? The innocent?
I don't know. It's a 6-hour documentary, though.
I'm just saying, gang.
It's a 6-hour documentary.
I'm just saying, only motherfucker that's locked up for some violent shit is fucking D Rose, and he ain't even do it, gang.
Yeah, the story has been circling around that D Rose is there for something he didn't do. And he's just keeping his mouth shut, and he's having to take the time for someone else's situation.
On B, that's the only motherfucker. Like, all the rest of they ass either locked, like, until they killed the motherfucker for a North Face.
But you know what? That's a thing in the gang life, man. I think a lot of guys don't want to give the ops credit, you know, for stuff that they've done. But I mean, you know, 600, they were extremely deadly. You know, that whole group, you know, where it turned into Get Back Gang, and it was like a whole summer of just killing people back to back. You know, they were truly deadly in the streets, man. And it really, you know, it's not to disrespect anyone, but they were really serious guys, you know, and the amount of people that were real killers from that crew, you know, it's just kind of, definitely one of the most deadly and brutal kind of gang wars that I've come across in the Chicago history. But at the same time, I get why people don't want to claim it. They don't want to admit for certain things happening. But, you know, a lot of people did lose their lives over that war. And, you know, between 600 and MOB and you know, STL, all of that crew, the sort of GDs on one side and the BDs on the 600 side with O-Block and Lamron, you know, they really were at war for years. And just so many people lost their lives. You know, so many people were affected. It really was one of the darkest things that I've covered, just as far as the insane amount of lives that were lost, you know, as part of that war.